went through a series of losses a couple years ago. I wrote a little bit about this in my book. I can't really get into too much detail, but I can tell you that, I've always prided myself on being the visionary, and, I have these amazing ideas, most of which don't even make it to the chopping block, but the ones that do are really phenomenal and amazing. And all of the ones that, that I put Grant to work on have executed brilliantly. And, but I had this one and I had a 0 fail track record, just, and I sent him on this mission with this group and this company that, that I ignored red flags on. They wanted to make a long story short, it was really horrendous. Grant wanted to back out. Sherry wanted to back out. I was like, you get your heads back in the game and don't you give up on this and get back in there. And, so then another couple months go by until I realized, this was an absolute, utter catastrophe. Ended in a ridiculous lawsuit, caused a lot of turmoil. We came off of our game, cost us not just in dealing with the lawsuit, which that story ended well. It ended up going away with them giving us an apology, but name goes through the mud, and lies are spread. And the worst part is we came off of our thing to go focus on that, which was just horrendous. Anyway, so it was a very big loss for me, very embarrassing, humiliating, devastating. Like it was horrible. But the thing is, I went through what I went through. I didn't expect Grant to pick me up off of the ground. I expected to pick myself up off of the ground, which I eventually did. And how I combated that was, after I played out all of the scenarios in my head of, I'm Italian, so so I played out every, mafia fantasy in my head of how I'm going to knock these people off and everything. After I talked some sense off of, I don't think I would look good in prison because, you don't get the nice luxuries of hair and nails and all kinds of girl things in prison. So I just looked at, what I always look through, which is, flourish and prosper. I really analytically looked at things, and I saw L. Ron Hubbard, who's a mentor of mine, he wrote a little book called The Way to Happiness. It's this little book with 21 precepts. It's like this simple common sense guide. And one of the 21st precept says flourish and prosper. And when I read that, it totally saved me. And I thought, you know what? If I quit right now, if I fail, if I give up, if I, because I wanted to stop, I wanted to close the curtains. I wanted to why am I making myself so vulnerable? Why am I trying to do this and that? And then I realized that, what he says, flourish and prosper. If I shut down and I stop, then they, meaning they, the enemy, all the people who want to see us fail, who want to see us divorce, who want to see us go bankrupt. If I shut down, they win. The opposite side wins. And I'm like, I can't have that. I have to pick myself back up. I have to disconnect from my past. I have to learn the lessons. What can I take responsibility for? I am not a victim. I refuse to be a victim. Every single loss that I've had is because I didn't pay attention to something. So I looked at every single thing that I could take responsibility for and all of my losses. I ignored the red flag because I was looking at the dangling carrot. I ignored the fact that I saw screaming, blaring out ethics situations over in that camp. I ignored it and justified it. I would never do business with people that were doing those kinds of activities, but I ignored it. Anyway, I put policies into place to prevent that from happening in the future, but I disconnected from my future. My future is only there to help me make better decisions in the future, but I'm not governed by my past. What I do to help me get over those losses is I really focus on the future. and I mock up my future. Who am I in the future? Not from my past. Everybody lives from their past into the present. So you want to take a training or you want to invest in a course, you're living from your past. Oh, this one's not going to work. I tried that. This failed, that failed. Why is this job or this situation going to be any different? I failed in the past. My parents, my family can't see me different because I was a loser in the past. How am I ever going to be this future self that I want to be? All that's past, living into the present. I did a 180 and I said, what would my life be like if I lived from the future to the present? Why can't I live from the future into the present? It's all, time is all made up anyway. It's all like, what is it really, right? But if I create and I mock up who I am in the future, who my friends are, who do I surround myself with? What is the house that I live in look like? Do I fly private? Do I have the ability to charter planes? What is my relationship like with my children? Who do our business partners look like? How much money do I have? How do I become strong enough to support that whole entire lifestyle? What does that woman look like in the future? How confident is she? How disciplined is she? How articulate is she? Because the person coming from the past who never went to college, who thought she was dumb in school, was never going to get there from the past. I had to go see my future self. I had to live from the future and reverse engineer back to the present. So you understand, if I'm supposed to be extremely confident in the future, what are the actions I need to do that are going to make me confident to becoming that person that I want to be in the future? So every single thing that I do in the present is because I'm reverse engineering and taking actions to be able to have my future self. It's a completely different viewpoint. When you disconnect from your past and you come from your future, it's such a relief. You cut the cord. I don't need my past. That is done. I'm not the same person I was at the beginning of this call, much less who I was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, or last year when I suffered losses. Who I am is that person. So now every course that I took, it was going to work because that is exactly what I needed in order to become the person I needed to be in the future. Every single workout session that I have, or training, or vitamins that I take made me healthy and energetic to be that strong, powerful woman. Every course I've taken, formulas for living, prosperity for life, all the financial courses I've taken, all the real estate courses, all of the speaking gigs that I've taken to make me a better speaker and more comfortable and confident in front of groups and to be able to speak with certainty. That's all because that's who I already am in the future. Has nothing to do with my past. That has everything to do with the actions that I'm taking right now to be that person that I want to be. So that's what I would say that you could help and give to her, is to be like, sit her down and say, who are you in the future? Write it, everything, your dream, no holds bar. And then ask her, what steps do you need to take? What courses, what classes, what self-enhancement? What do you need to do to become that person? And let's start that.